Here we have a 2020 Hyundai Kona SEL with the stock halogen projector headlamps and no fog lamps. We will be adding OEM fog lamps along with replacing this lower grille here. The stock headlights by themselves are pretty bad in snow and rain. So I know there are LED plug-and-play kits for the projector headlamps, but they're not DOT approved, and they end up causing a lot of glare for other drivers and oncoming traffic. So I don't want to solve my problem by blinding other drivers and creating a problem for them. So let's get started. Here we have the new parts. These fog lamps I ordered off of eBay, but Rock Auto also had them for pretty cheap. These are OEM brand new parts. This is the lower grille. I also ordered it off of eBay from a salvage Hyundai. There are two parts here. The first part is the lower grille, this black piece. The second is this trim. On this model that was salvaged, it was this silver trim. Looks like it's just cosmetic, but just something to keep in mind if you do order them as new parts or you order them individually. This and this are separate. I'll have all the part numbers in the description below. This is the back view of the bumper cover. One of the reasons I wanted to make this video is because I could not find a single view online of what the back of the bumper looked like. So this will hopefully be helpful for anyone trying to do the same thing. We'll have to remove these for the lower grille, and hopefully we can reuse most of the screws and bolts for the new grille. After removing our 4 screws from this lower grille, we have a whole lot of these clips that hold in the lower grille. So what's worked for me is to just use a plastic trim removal tool, push on that while pulling up on the lower grille. After removing the bumper cover, you can see that there is no wiring harness for fog lights on the SEL model in the United States. This was something I had a hard time researching online, but some other brands have universal wiring harnesses regardless of trim level, but it looks like Hyundai does not. So I'll have to add a wiring harness, which I purchased on Amazon. I'll have that link in the description. Has an inline fuse, a relay, a switch. It's all in one kit, so it just makes it convenient. The reason I chose this one specifically is because it has a wire for the relay, but also a power wire for the switch. So hopefully we should be able to wire up the fog lights in a way that they can only come on when the headlights are on and when the fog light switch is activated. That way we have the option of being able to use the low beams by themselves or low beams and the fog lights. This is the new lower grille, and should just snap into place just like the original. And we'll secure it with the screws on all 4 sides. Now to install the fog lamp assemblies. Our new part here. It just goes in just like that. There's this little post that will align, and then we can recycle 2 of the screws that were on the previous lower grille. One will go right there, another will go right there, and then we'll dig through our spare screw and bolt pile. I found some similar looking screws that we'll put there and there. This side we already have hooked up, and we should be ready to install the whole bumper cover. So here I have the lights all hooked up. The wires running across this cross member. And I did end up editing this this wiring harness. It wasn't optimal. I would have preferred the relay to be somewhere closer to the fuse box in a more accessible location, but that's as close as I could get it. I wired this ground up to that 10 millimeter, I believe, on the bumper. And this wiring harness, I just had some conduit and put it in here, wrapped it with some electrical tape, just to clean it up, keep wires from flopping around, make it look a little bit more professional. And what I ended up doing was I cut the red 12-volt wire that goes to the relay, because the fuse is only about, I don't know, 8 inches away from there, and I wanted the fuse to be in a more accessible spot. So I cut it, and the wire ended up being too short anyways, but I cut it and flipped it around so that the longer side of the wire came from the relay, and then it had to go up behind this headlight. And there you can see the fuse pops out of that the little plastic conduit, just in an accessible spot. But I put the conduit here just to make it look a little bit more professional. And there you can kind of see it splits off. The switch and the white switch wire and the red switch wire go off through the firewall there. Hard to see. Anyways, and then the 12-volt for the relay comes up through this little sheath and right onto the positive terminal. So, and then what the red wire from the switch, which gives the switch its power, comes back through this conduit, and I actually hooked it up to the headlight. Specifically, I hooked it up to the low beam. I just spliced into it. I didn't really want to have to do that, but seemed like the best choice. So out of all these wires here, I found through process of elimination, blue is the low beam, white is the high beam, and these two blacks are ground wires. So I just spliced that that red wire from the switch into that blue low beam. I tested it and everything, and it still works. It doesn't make the computer freak out. I know some on this Hyundai, the computer will alarm and tell you if your bulb is out, if it detects some sort of change in the resistance. But I tried it out and it does not seem to freak out. So yeah, that's the setup. And in the cabin, you can see the wires coming through. That's the firewall. That's the spot where the hood latch release goes. So just right through there. And I actually grounded it. You can take this plastic, this side piece off right here, and I grounded it on a 10 millimeter bolt, same bolt I used for a dash cam. And then I just have a switch coming up through here, and I will use some double-sided tape, stick it right through there. A rocker switch would look nicer, but this is what I got. Here's the final product. I think it looks pretty good with the gray trim that matches the headlight bezels. It's pretty nice. And when I have it wired up, you'll see when I unlock that the fog lights come on with the headlights. And this green light indicates the fog lights are on. You'll see it turns off when I turn the headlights off. You can hear the relay switch. So I think it works pretty well. Hopefully this video helped at least a couple of you watching. yeah, pretty happy with how it turned out. Increased the visibility at night. Feel a lot safer driving on the highway. Thanks for watching.